Ladies and gentlemen, the Football Scoop podcast has started. I can't even speak. I had technical difficulties getting this whole thing started. Who cares? We're doing one bold prediction, and this is enormous. This is one of the ones that gets us fired up every season. Typically, I'm your host, Scott Russell. Got Zach Barnett, John Bryce, Doug Samuels, college football experts, all of them. I'm just the guy who happens to own Football Scoop and gets to have the most fun doing all this. Generally, because I own this thing, I'm usually the guy who's right. Or maybe it's just because I have great football knowledge, depth of knowledge. I have experts at my beck and call that they can feed me information. It's amazing. Last year, so I'll start with myself. A little accountability. I had LSU winning the Natty. I think I had Jaden Daniels win the Heisman. I got the Heisman right. Talked about prolific offense. Yeah, maybe not exactly, but yeah. Okay, so I didn't realize how bad the defense was. I didn't realize a couple of decisions that were highly suspect, and hence some coaching changes were made in accordance with that. Doug, I'm going to come to you soon, but we're not even going to talk about your bold prediction last year because, no, we're not going to talk about that. Zach went bold. Prime with one win. It was bold. It didn't pan out. He had 4 wins in the first 5 or 6 games. JB, so we're still trying to get JB to go bold. JB went, Penn State had the softest schedule of all time last year, and he's like, they played no one except for Ohio State and Michigan. And if they can win one of those, they make it to the playoff. He was right. They did have the soft schedule of all time. They played no one. They lost both of those games and did not make the playoff. So here we are, gentlemen. The edict this year is you have to go bold. No, well, I was thinking about this and I was thinking about that, and I could see this, could see that. No, I need bold prediction. JB, let's go, baby. All right, I'm going to start us off. Doug Samuels, he's the best coach of our whole group. The floor is yours, my friend. Go bold or go home.
Appreciate it. I just accountability. I had UMass going to a bowl game last year. I don't know if it gets much bolder than that. So this year I'm going to have a bold college playoff prediction, and I'm going to say a quarter of the field is made up from one conference, and I think that conference is going to be the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten gets 4 teams in. I think two are, I don't want to say locks, but are favorites in Ohio State and Oregon. I've been on the James Franklin Penn State bandwagon for years now. If they had a 12-team playoff the past several years, James Franklin and Nittany Lions would have been in. I think they get over the hump this year with a 12-team playoff and get in. And then who is that 4th team is kind of that's up for debate. Is it Michigan? Do they have enough to reload, and can they galvanize and refocus without Harbaugh at the helm? Or is it a team, and this is wild just to say, but is it Iowa? Is it a team that can fix their offense, play really good defense, and they're an outsider that makes it in? And there always happens to be one outsider that makes it in. If Iowa can play solid offense and have the type of defense that they annually field, it's not a crazy idea to think that they could be 11 or 12 making it in there.
What about your Nebraska Cornhuskers?
They're in the mix. Are they one of those? Are they that 4th team? Absolutely, they could be. I wouldn't put that on a freshman quarterback. I think the other teams have some more veteran leadership there. So I'd put Nebraska as the 1st team out looking in, maybe at 16 or something like that, Big Ten wise.
So Doug's a football coach. It's in his blood. It's what he does. I'm more of a math nerd. What I thought I heard Doug say initially was a quarter of the teams will be from one conference. I would have said a quarter is 3 of the 12 teams. But Doug went 4 teams. Doug went bold, and damn it, I love it. Doug, well done, young man.
Hey, I'm not a math nerd. I just coach football and write about football. So,
and we're grateful that you do both. Zach Barnett, the floor is yours. Go bold or go home.
All right, I'm going to go bold again. My prediction is an undefeated Miami Hurricanes make it to the college football playoff semifinals. Let's start with the schedule. They open at Florida, which where I'm sitting today is their most difficult game. Follow this murderer's row if they're able to win in Gainesville. Florida A&M, Ball State, at South Florida, not going to be an easy game. Virginia Tech, at Cal, at Louisville. home against Florida State. Will they have a win by that point? Probably. Who knows, based off what we saw. Duke at Georgia Tech. Going to be a difficult game, as we saw. And then they close with Wake Forest and at Syracuse. Right now, there's one ranked team among those 12, and that's Florida State. They signed the what would have been the reigning Pac-2 best 2 offensive players in Cam Ward. They got from Washington State, the quarterback. They got Oregon State running back Damian Martinez. Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal are the best head coach offensive line combo in the country in terms of building strong offensive linemen. Reuben Bain was a freshman All-American defensive end last year. They got Simeon Barrow, defensive tackle from Michigan State. Doug knows well. They're rebuilding in the secondary. Doesn't matter. Outside of South Florida and maybe Louisville, who among this group really scares you throwing the football? They're going to beat Clemson in the ACC championship game. They're going to beat number 7, the Penn State Paper Lions in the quarterfinal game. And then they're going to lose to number 3 Texas in a semifinal at the Orange Bowl. But it's going to be a dream season until it ends on their home field in the Orange Bowl.
That was bold, and I liked it. Undefeated, got us all the way to the semis. Lost to Texas because who knows why they threw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, Zach. Well done, JB. The floor is yours. Go bold.
Really impressed with Zach's bold proclamation there, and Doug uttering the word Iowa in our bold predictions. That actually had been on my mind, but it was going to be that Iowa would score 2 touchdowns in a single game on offense. But I don't think that qualifies, and so my bold prediction is that the Kansas Jayhawks will win the Big 12 and be a college football playoff participant. Jalen Daniels stays healthy. Lance Leipold continues to build a real powerful program there, bigger than any one player, and even despite losing a great assistant coach in Kopelnecki, Lance Leipold and the Kansas Jayhawks play Utah in the Big 12 championship and then appear in the college football playoff championship. I thought about going with Memphis hosting a playoff game. I thought about going with the Tennessee Vols in the playoffs, and I thought about going with Notre Dame going 12-0 and hosting Penn State in the playoffs. Those were all at the forefront of my feeble little mind. But much like Scott is allergic to doing, I really wanted to step out on a precarious limb and not just hug the base of the tree.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to recap this in my mind. JB went bold and predicted like a conference championship that would eke into the playoffs. So that's fine. That's fine. Not eke in. JB went conference champion.
Kansas.
Doug.
We're not talking hardwood.
Not just 3.
Yeah.
Not just 3. Doug went 4 playoff teams. Zach went a little bolder. Zach went a team making it to the semifinals. It's bold, guys. Y'all are. Good.
All right, who's getting carried off on their shoulders?
Bronco
Mendenhall. The mission was one bold prediction. I'm happy to stand here right now and tell you guys, bold confidence, who the 2024 college football national champions are.
But you're seated. You're not even standing up. How can we believe anything you say?
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. I'm going to boldly predict a team that has never won a college football national championship. Never done it. Played for it twice under good coaches, regimes in the past. We got a coach who wants to be there. He's willing to smoke a cigar and proclaim it. This is where I want to be.
Everybody makes what? They all make commitments to things that they're going to do. A lot of starters. The world doesn't have a lot of what? Finishers. We're finishers.
I want to be here in Eugene for as long as Eugene will have me. This place has everything that I could possibly ever want. There's a little bit of a problem in society today with people looking for what's next and where there's an opportunity. And the reality is, the grass is not always greener. In fact, the grass is damn green in Eugene.
January 23, January 24, January of 24, Dan Lanning smoked that cigar and said, this is where I want to be. There's a lot of people who start. We need to be the ones who finish, and we're going to be the ones who finish. January 25, 1 year later, Dan Lanning will be a national championship coach. Oregon Ducks, your 2024-2025 college football national champions. One bold prediction. Write it down in ink.
So I just want to state for the record, Scott's predicting the preseason number 3 team to win the national championship.
Took the
You
words
guys
right
talk
out of
yourself
my
out of Ohio State or Georgia.
This team has never won a national championship before. They're changing conferences. They're going into the big bad Big Ten. As Doug just said, 4 teams are going to make it from there. You're going to the rough and tumble. The defending national champions are in that conference. A guy, he's only been a head coach for a couple of seasons. Dylan Gabriel's coming to town. A lot of new faces had to bring in. Lost a lot of talent. Guys, I'm not here to pick a conference champion or a guy's going to eke into the playoffs. Or the semifinals was bold. I mean, it was an undefeated season. Gets to the semis. That was big. I'm planting the flag for the national champion Ducks.
My man is taking Vegas's team with the 3rd best odds, and Vegas doesn't give a damn about your fan base or your feelings. He's taking Vegas's 3rd best odds team minus 300 and taking that as a bold proclamation. That's as bold as a wet spaghetti noodle.
They have never done it before.
That's the most brave thing I've ever seen, Scott.
Might never do it again.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have left them stunned. Nothing more needs to be said. Bold predictions are in the books. They will be in your ink. You'll see these fresh faces discussing them shortly.
Okay,
It's
so
always a pleasure. Zach,
a year from now, we're going to be doing this, and I'm going to be mocked because my prediction doesn't come true. But mine was, once again, I won the boldest prediction. Although last year, Doug taking UMass was to make a bowl game was bold. But once again, I have 1 or 2 boldest of the 4.
You better put some respect on Kansas boldness. Kansas isn't a basketball school. They're the home of Naismith, not the home of Pigskin. This year, they're the home of Pigskin.
JB, if you had done that under Les Miles, I would have absolutely given you the nod and said that's bold. But come on, that's not where we are these days. Kansas is a respected football team, great football coach, great quarterback. I have to admit, when Doug said UMass 9 last year, I fell out of my chair. I literally could not believe the man said that. Did he just say UMass? That was unbelievable.
Just to be clear, in your world, it's more bold to predict Oregon to win the national championship than Kansas to win the Big 12.
Gentlemen, you know how hard it is to win a national champion? I mean, this is only one team gets to do this. Kansas have to get to the game and beat Utah.
You need to better articulate your rules for bold predictions. And you said a bold prediction. You didn't say a bold national champion prediction. Moving the goalpost.
I've never seen anything so soft as this after a conversation.
My bold prediction for
I don't even know
25.
who we are. Doug, I appreciate you being quiet. You got some respect on your face.
The goalpost.
It's Kansas.
Thank you, Zach.
It's Kansas in a conference that Texas and Oklahoma just left. So let's put that out there. It's not the same it's not your dad's Big 12. It's a different Big 12.
Now we've got our resident Minuteman chiming in.
Yeah.
UMass is very own Doug Samuels, ladies and gentlemen.
This is why we do this, folks. One bold prediction. We all have a lot of laughs. We've all been talking about the great things happening at KU football. I was just, publicly and privately talking about the job that Travis Goff, Colin Sexton, those guys have done, and Lance. I mean, Lance is he's the guy, and got a heck of a quarterback, heck of a program. There has been some change, and I think I think Kansas is in great shape.
I'm gonna enjoy writing the story to go with this podcast almost as much as I'm laughing through this podcast.
Yeah.
And your bold proclamation of being able to hold a sequoia tree. My
wife does love Oregon. Lots of trees. All All right, gentlemen. Football Scoop One Bold prediction is in the books. Mine will be right. Everybody else will have a great season. And with that, we're out. See y'all soon.